when you're looking at a price chart like this, how many of you really believe that XRP is going to run way higher than the entire altcoin market cap? Now, there are interesting stuff to actually understand with the altcoin chart and altcoin dominance, but then you come on to look at XRP and the altcoin market. And it kind of intrigues me to actually see like, okay, a lot of people still don't see this. But you who's watching this, I definitely believe you have a hope or an understanding that this is going to happen. Now, if you take stuff from the history and try to learn what's happening, now we are all students of the history because I don't think I'm smarter than history. And I think none of us are. And if you are, great, you're better. But if you did miss this last time, you don't have to miss next big run up. Now, I'll actually explain why I think XRP is going to be the biggest gainer in the altcoin, where I'm talking about large and medium cap coins, not micro caps, because some of those can actually fly even higher, being realistic, and you won't have enough liquidity to move out. So it doesn't make sense. Even if you make, $100 million a day, you can't move out. Fine. So if you are thinking about big money, XRP is one of the best one. Now, let me break this down so we are on the same page. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. Now, for that of XRP, we will dive into that. But before that, to understand this scenario, how we are going to perform, you need to first understand what's happening here. Now, this is short term, you're doing still the same, you're inside the same pattern, you're slowly grinding to the upside, all that is good. But when you zoom in, step inside this and see like, okay, we are breaking through this one, and that historically has been something really important. What is that? Whenever you break through or you bounce or increase in the altcoin dominance, with that time frame, you go look at what altcoin market was doing. Or you can look at the vice versa, whether it's the market doing that stuff or this one, it's all fine. But the understanding here is easy. If historically, each time you reach this trend line support and bounce in the altcoin market, the dominance used to go back up. The dominance used to go back up. It used to increase. It used to increase. Or it used to break through from a pattern. Now, most of these are a breakthrough. If you look at this, you were testing, getting rejected. You were testing, getting rejected. You were testing, getting rejected. And then you broke through, right? All of this does come into play. You can actually look at all this and say like, okay, this kind of shows you a repeated pattern. So it was easy to identify. Right now, it's something like this where you are moving. Now, either you can plot it like this one, or you can say, okay, there's a lot of price volatility there, the wicks. So you can actually keep this like this. Still, you get one of the point like, okay, you are here. So historically, when you look at this, June 2013, the price dominance is bouncing. The altcoin dominance is bouncing. You look at this, you slowly started to move, and that was the start of that market running higher. Next, it's the wave one here. November, October, November, December. You were bottoming close to that same support and bouncing late 2015. You come here and you look at this. You made the bottom and you were starting to move up. It just started showing you are going up. And as you broke through the February, late Jan, Feb, what happens here? You kind of go through, reach the top, and then you start to break higher. So as you move higher here, you definitely get the altcoins running crazy. Fine? Each time that's the case. So if it's me, I would say like, okay, last 4 times this happened when the market did this. So most likely, if the market right now is about to do something crazy here, I won't go out and say, okay, this time it's different. Because it's hard to say that. Now, yes, the market is dependent on Bitcoin, how it actually moves. A lot of exchanges still trade Bitcoin pairs, and that's a heavy volume. So you come here to look at like, okay, are we having some kind of move in technicals showing we are starting to go higher? So if it's me, I would actually put this easily. We've talked about this when we were close to here, saying we are close to a breakout. We did get a breakout. Great. We came back to retest that. Now we are at an area where we are trying to bounce off. That's literally great in my opinion, because at that time on a short term you are at a long term resistance here. Short term you're bouncing, and on the long term you are at a long term support resistance zone or a supply demand area. So if you get a bounce here, you have room to run, and then you come onto the macro. Wow, that's where you start. Now, the question is, why would I say XRP is going to be the best runner of this altcoin market cycle? If we go back in history, when we look at this, last time, remember when the entire alt season happened, the first wave, it was like around 600%, say 6x. And at the same time, XRP only moved like 130%. And that high was 85, close to 85%. It's 84.19 to be precise, below the previous all-time highs. Right now, the wave one in this cycle, alt market actually did close to 30x. And if you look at XRP, it did around 15x. So that's 50% of the actual run in the alt market, which is way better than what we did last time, because last time it was like 130%, whereas the altcoin market ran like 600. So we lagged pretty much. And this time we are 48% below the all-time highs. So that gives you a perspective. So we kind of did double what we have done in terms of ratio compared to the last market cycle. Now, the interesting part here is if you take from the bottom and then plot it to the upside, you see like, okay, the alt market actually did close to 1,400x. Great. Now, you look at from the bottom to the top, XRP also did that. So last time, XRP was lagging way behind in wave one, and it still went up with the altcoin market. This time, we are doing double that in wave one in terms of the ratio. And the altcoin market, if you look at this and ask like, okay, how high you can actually go down, you can be optimistic. Say like, okay, this is a great trend line. The wicks actually show like you can go there. That's fine. Now, you can also say like, okay, what if I'm a little bit conservative, right? You can take both scenario. And that's a massive upside you're looking at. So historically speaking, at this trend line support, that's the highest risk to reward ratio, where the reward is symmetrical compared to your risk, right? So logically speaking, as an investor, if this is to happen right now, then if the altcoin market is about to run crazy, say, 400x, XRP is going to run way higher than that. Now, let's be a little bit conservative. Now, everyone can be a little bit more conservative. Fine. We say close to 50, 60x in the altcoin market. Then again, XRP is going to perform better than that, right? Double what we have done last time. So last time we matched the altcoin market. So if we do the double, that means even in the most conservative case, when the market is doing a 50x, 60x, XRP is going to do a 100x or a 120x. If the market happens to actually go parabolic crazy, and imagine XRP is going to do double that, those are actually big numbers. It's not something small, and you can't neglect this because this is the history. So if you are here in the market, yes, we do have to go through this. We do have to get the clarity. I agree on the fundamental side of this, but the general aspect is clear. Utility is the best stuff. And now, yeah, when you're in the market, you kind of get people like this saying something, if you want a digital monetary network for 8 billion people, you can't take weekends off. Okay, fine. And what's the key point here? He's highlighting Bitcoin. Great. Now, if you actually go look at what's happening around the globe, I don't think you'll actually, disagree with me. The energy consumption is a big concern right now. So Europe, as a big territory with a lot of countries, are having this issue right now. We all understand how crazy the world is in terms of your energy cost, right? So if that is the case and they are all trying to prevent this, do you really think they will give the priority to Bitcoin mining? For me, I think like, okay, whatever you say, whether it's renewable energy or fossil fuels, wherever you are generating that source, I don't think the normal people would even understand. Imagine you're paying like, 10 times or 5 times your energy bill and you see a Bitcoin mining farm, because majority of the people don't even know what Bitcoin is. They're going to whack it through, right? So that's where one of the key part of fundamentals comes into play. So now going back, if you are looking at this, you need to understand there are short-term risks inside this. We talked about this upcoming merge in Ether. If that merge goes wrong in even 10%, that's going to hurt the market on a short term. But if you are here, understanding the macro, the long term, you definitely are looking at this. But looking at how things are moving, I think like it can be short-term volatility, like you may drop here a little bit. You may have this fluctuation. When you're going up, you do get these wicks, right? Now, this is a weekly. When you zoom in on a daily, you'll actually see like how volatile it has been throughout the journey, right? You do get drops here and there where the market actually goes like 20-30% on any given week or a day, right? You actually move like crazy. So that will still be there. It's not going to be an easy journey when you talk about these big numbers. You will have to pay with patience, time in the market. But one of the hardest part is the same thing, patience. Time is hard, especially when you see the market slowing down, coming to the bottom and then making a bottom. A lot of people have hard time, including me, to say, I'm going to be patient. Oh, now I agree that's hard, but if you go through that, you then have the ability to reach here. Imagine what you were going through when the price was making this bottom. That was hard, right? I was in the market and the videos are still there. You know what we were talking about. And we slowly made it, right? We came back up. Same thing. You are coming back down. And one of the best stuff here is you are still at this long-term supply and demand zone and you're respecting this level, which literally, if you actually measure in terms of days, you can actually see like we respected that particular range and hit that level multiple times during 500 days of trading. You came up, got rejected, came up, got rejected. So when you are above that, I would actually personally say like, okay, if that level has been as a resistance, then support, then resistance, most likely this time it's going to be a support because that's a major level. So if you are able to at least average down towards 0.3, 0.35 or even below 0.5, that is going to give you leverage as you go up, because whatever number we are going to talk about, 60x, 100x, 1000x, whatever, it would be from the bottom here. So as low as possible, if you can push your average down, that's beneficial. Now imagine your average is below this price. You can't do much. Even if you're buying at this price, you're averaging up. Fine. So you can have a trading bag, you can have a long-term bag if you are organized. Once you are in the market and you understand like, okay, this is a major opportunity you are looking at, and then you try to, okay, let me actually dig a little bit more deeper. Saying like, okay, I understand the long-term perspective is actually great, but what's the short-term outlook? You want to actually reduce the noise and then see this. So I'm like, okay, for me, yes, there is a lot of volatility in the market, but it does show you that we are slowly grinding to the upside. And historically, whenever you do this, initially it's really slow. If you actually come here and notice the time frame when it was trying to break through, it was so slow. Each day was like super slow, boring. Eventually you broke above, you retested and you bounced. And at the same time, you go look at what the price was doing, what the dominance was doing. You were going up. So you do get that volatility. You do see we are coming back to the same exact area and slowly getting bounced. Now, weekly chart, we are getting this bounce, and it's not something you should completely neglect. Now, yes, you can be even macro guy looking at this. You go onto a monthly chart, and I think that's the best you can actually do. And you look at this and ask the same stuff. Okay, what am I actually looking at? If you combine your fundamentals, if you combine your TA, and you ask this question to yourself when you are watching this on a monthly chart, for me, that's like a piercing candle which went way above the 50% of the last candle at a long-term support. So I would actually say, like, yes, there can be a retest because historically that's been the case. You see an engulfing candle here on a monthly, then again you come back down to test the moving trend line and then bounce through there. So if that's the case, okay, fine, we are here, we are testing the trend line again, and if we get a bounce, it's going to be something like this. Now, it's not the magical run up, but that's slowly gathering the pace. But what happens here is one of the interesting part. You get to see, like, okay, the market does around a 29-30x if you get from the bottom, but if you are looking at it from the bounce here, say 27x. But being uncertain, if you stayed out of the market, now you get 9x. That's a huge difference. Getting a 30x to 9x, that's a huge difference. And this is the average market fluctuation. Some asset would do 10 instead of 30. And if you are getting this ratio, now you're not getting 10, you get 2 or 3x. So that's the importance of being in the market, giving time in the market. I know giving time in the market is not the easiest thing, and it's practically hard to keep your psychology and emotion balanced. Guys, if you're receiving value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button. And I definitely hope this episode was a lot of information for you to think for your future. If so, come back on the next video and we are going to discuss even further through this price fluctuation. Bye for now.